This book, this one here, I'm going to show you, Starts with Why by Simon Sinek, this guy here. Starts with why is the question that you always ask and should ask yourself all the time, why things happen. There are many reasons and explanations. One of them, in my opinion, is that sometimes we don't think enough or we don't question ourselves. We don't elaborate the classical question, why? And in many cases, if we go and see our own information, data, and feedback, we will find many answers. This book, where he says starts with why, was the classical principle used by Leonardo da Vinci and by many other inventors and creators and people that actually established a difference in the planet, because they were asking themselves, why? Why should I repeat that over again, or why shouldn't do I this differently? That is why you see that businesses, education, social issues, health, maybe when you have a question concerning your particular health, or medical advances in history, and precisely history and politics, or even families, or any other question, even spirituality. And the questions is always why. We should never stop asking ourselves why. Because in my personal experience, when I ask myself why, I usually discover the answer because my brain or my experiences, I always think and see that there was an experience because of something in particular that I read or I saw, and then somehow my brain connects those points, so to speak, and then I find the answer. And it's always important. You can say why. You shouldn't take things for granted. News, information, not even that what I'm telling you. You should go there and inspire and check this guy here, Simon Sinek, or go to my channel if you like. But it's important that you see, okay, this is the book, this is what the contents, the introduction, who is the one recommending this book and why, and maybe you see the contents in here, and then you will see, okay, you assume that you know. Many people, what I have seen is, out of the fact that they study one thing once or twice, they somehow make up the rest. I have seen plenty of times that's concerning, for example, health recommendations or health tips, where people, you ask them, hey, listen, what is good for, let's say, a migraine in some cases, or for stomach ache, or whatever it is that is somehow affecting you. And sometimes, because of this traditional cultural background, because the grandmother recommended something, some remedies might work and they might cure something, but in other cases they don't. And then you need antibiotics or therapeutics or something that is more effective. And that's why I always say, always ask why. There was, in time in my generation where kids used to ask why. Parents didn't like that. When you had too many whys and whys, they didn't like that. The authorities didn't like that. Under all the experiences that I remember, nobody liked the whys, especially in my generation and more before my generation. Today, I always encourage people, students, and anybody online to ask why, and research and verify and make your homework. You can ask yourself always why. Again, why am I not learning English, for example? Why am I not learning better? Why can I not have a different approach towards this subject or topic? Why not? The same as with money. Why am I doing this job? Why? Or you can connect that with how. But let's continue with why. Why is that so, let's say, in marketing or in sales or in, in the particular consumption behavior? You always ask why, and you will see how many good answers you can find. Or the same, when I ask myself, why am I hanging out with these people? In the past, it happened to me that I used to hang out with lots and lots of toxic people because I thought, well, there's nobody else in there. And then I started wondering, why not? Because I was negligent, because I was lazy, because I didn't do my homework, so to speak, concerning social issues. You see, the same happened when many doctors gave me some recommendations, because as a teacher of English, German, and other languages, I have been working with doctors, especially the ones that travel to Germany. And I was always wondering, why not telling him or her, this particular doctor, how to learn German better? Or even when they gave me some recommendations, and then I say, why not checking online, let's say pages like MedLink or any other reliable page concerning a particular remedy? So that is always the question, why? Or again, I grew up in Germany and then I was asking, why? Why were Germans so cruel during the Nazi regime? And why was people so easily submitted? Why? And then I found social issues, financial issues, the circumstances, Germany background, many answers came along. But that's important to say why. Always why, in my opinion, is the best possible question word, or in general, linguistic word, anybody should have always there. Why? And sometimes we, because of certain circumstances and factors, sometimes we don't dare to say why. There was a time where it was not allowed politically. Actually, today in many countries, it's not allowed. That is how some people submit other people. And that is why I always encourage people to read one book, one single book, Sapiens, by I think he's professor in history, and a good one, in my opinion, one of the best, Professor Yuval Noah Harari from Jerusalem's University. I think the research and investigation in his book are awesome. They enlightened me, I have to say. This book really enlightened me. And that is why I always encourage people, check this out. This book, questions in here, the contents, and always, because when you see that these people with these books, they made their homework and their research, they really have something interesting to share. And the more information we have in here, in my opinion, the better. It's always good. Not take things for granted or because somebody else is saying that. No. Many times in history we made many mistakes. So the least that we should do with ourselves, with our society, with our family, with our kids, with our people, with our students, with our communities is always encourage them to ask why. Always why.